Hollyoaks is in fifth place, and if you haven't noticed, it has been slowly falling in these rankings the last 2 months. It was second place back in November, fell to fourth in December, and now it is in fifth place in my rankings because I am quite unhappy with Hollyoaks. In some of my past videos for Hollyoaks, I have talked about how I can usually always count on Hollyoaks to either at least give me entertainment. And while the show is continuing to do that, it has pissed me off a lot in January. I can't lie. I feel like the transition from Brian Kirkwood to Lucy Allen has been bad for the most part. Lucy Allen is lacking a vision for the show, in my opinion, and I'm not fond of her focus right now. I feel like when I'm watching Hollyoaks lately, it's kind of all over the place. I feel like the creative direction is like an acid trip sometimes. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, but is the show not all over the place? And then the part that really annoyed me was the explosion, the big event, and specifically one of the deaths, but there were a few deaths. Marnie, Silver, and Celeste died. Marnie, I could give two shits, honestly. Silver, I like Silver for the most part, but I don't know if he was that important of a character. And I guess you can say the same for Celeste, but I've been talking about now on several videos for Hollyoaks that I've done how Celeste has so much potential as a character that they just won't get into. And now they're never going to, and that annoys me immensely. I don't like wasted potential from some of these damn soap operas sometimes. And this is definitely wasted potential. Not to mention, the first part of the month focused a hell of a lot on Ethan and Maya, who are two new characters to the show, yet we're supposed to care so much. And this is where I feel like Lucy Allen is struggling. She has thrown in this big new family, and a lot of the drama is starting to revolve around the big new family. And I think it's just too much too soon. Douglas Marland, a classic soap opera writer from many soap operas, but specifically for me, I've seen his work on As the World Turns back in the 80s and early 90s, and he's arguably my favorite soap opera writer of all time. And he used to have a Bible to soap operas, and how when you're introducing a new character, you got to do it slowly to make the viewers slowly care for the character. But here we are with a giant family getting thrown into a show, and they're already starting to revolve a lot of the drama. They're caught in a lot of the drama. They're villains in some of the drama, and it's just too much, too fast, and frankly, bad writing. So yeah, the event, the explosion, is really what brought down Hollyoaks. Yet another spot in my rankings. It could have been lower if any of these bottom feeder soap operas would have stepped it up, but I've already ranted around about most of those soap operas this month, if you've watched any of those videos, and how much they are annoying me. We got Maxine trying to get close to her father, Dave, who is the head of that new family, the Chen Williams family. And also a part of the story I do like Hollyoaks trying to tackle is the conspiracy theorist Becky being racist towards, I forget her name, being racist towards Serena, who is Asian, and kind of blaming China for COVID. I thought that was a good issue for the show to tackle, and they keep making Becky a really hateable character. I truly can't stand Becky. I don't know if that's good or bad, though, because she's not like an enjoyable villain to watch. She's just a villain I hate, and I kind of hate to watch. And she also almost took the blame for the explosion because she threw a smoke bomb, and she's been flirting it up with Ollie and using Ollie to do some of her bidding. Another problem I have, and it's kind of a problem I've talked about, I think, for General Hospital before, is how there's just a lot of villains on this show right now, between Warren and Becky and Ethan. I feel like there's just a lot of villains, and it's kind of overkill. A part of the story I kind of like, or potential, there's a lot of potential there, is James, of course, being pissed about Marnie's death. And I'm hoping this is a chance for James to go back to his old, more assholery ways. But like I just said, there's kind of a lot of villains on the show. So is James going full villain really worth it right now? I don't know. But I like when James has storylines, and he really hasn't had a storyline for what seems like 2 years now. He's kind of been back burner for a while, and I think a new direction for the character of James would be nice. Warren was hit by a car where he was unconscious. Warren, who has 9 lives, apparently. This man has been hurt a lot of times, presumed dead once. He's the closest to an American soap opera character. That is Warren, for sure, because he always seems to escape death. But when he's unconscious, he admitted to killing Brody the same way, getting hit by a car. And his son heard that. I can't lie, I didn't pay attention enough to the story the last few episodes. So I don't know what else happened with this whole Warren stuff. But it's just, the show in general has just been a lot. We had Tom and Yaz have a fight where Tom ends up kind of cheating on Yaz and kissing Cher, and then admitting this to Yaz, and Yaz lays into Cher. I mean, those characters kind of needed something to do. But in case you can't tell, I'm talking about a lot that's going on the show, and I'm not even mentioning every storyline. And, you know, I think I talked about this for EastEnders a couple of months ago, how there was a lot going on, and it kind of made the show good. I don't know. That's kind of had the opposite effect for me on Hollyoaks, because I just feel like there's a lot going on, and it's all over the place, and there's a total lack of focus and total lack of vision. And I'm hoping Lucy Allen can find her own vision for the show, because like I said, the transition from Brian Kirkwood, who is one of my favorite soap opera producers ever. He's done such a great job with Hollyoaks over the years for me, making it entertaining, that it's a hard act to follow for me for Lucy Allen. But I think the main problem for me is, I've talked about in the past how Hollyoaks is a show I just can put on and enjoy all the time. And while it is still entertaining, it kind of has been putting me in a bad mood the month of January. And I don't like a soap opera that puts me in a bad mood, because that means I'm not enjoying it. So I hope Hollyoaks can step it back up, because it's increasingly dropping in my ratings and getting close to all these soap operas that I have to rant and rave about every goddamn month, like Days of Our Lives and Emmerdale and Young and the Restless and General fucking Hospital and EastEnders. Hollyoaks, the quality is dropping, and I hope it can recover sooner rather than later.